the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. So, Srila Prabhupada explains in a purport, clear understanding of material nature, the super soul, the individual soul, and their interaction makes one eligible to become liberated and turn to the spiritual atmosphere without being forced to return to the material nature. This is the result of knowledge. The purpose of knowledge is to understand distinctly that the living entity has, by chance, fallen into this material existence. By his personal endeavor in association with authorities, saintly persons, and a spiritual master, he has to understand his position and then revert to spiritual consciousness or Krishna consciousness by understanding Bhagavad Gita as it is explained by the personality of Godhead. Then it is certain that he will never come again into this material existence, and he will be transferred into the spiritual world for a blissful eternal life of knowledge. So as we see here, Srila Prabhupada and Krishna are stressing the point of knowledge. Knowledge is something which everybody is basically fond of. The question is what kind of knowledge. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam we find that even birds can be very fond of knowledge. They are all day flying around, searching, asking questions, where's the next worm, where's the next seed? What can I eat? That's the basic question that everybody asks, what can I eat? So that's the questions even animals can ask. But a human form offers another spectrum of questions and answering, which unfortunately most of the people are missing. Nobody is asking questions. People ask questions like, who won the football championship? Big question. Well, what do I have to do with that? There is some people running in Brazil around, kicking some ball. What has this to do with my life? Nothing. So relevant questions. What is a real question? There are so many questions and so many answers given. The internet is glowing with questions and answers. But regarding what? Srila Prabhupada summed it up, very simple. Eating, sleeping, sex life, and defense means protection. That's what people are interested in. But that's also given in the animal kingdom. So this kind of questioning and answering and this kind of knowledge, it's for those who actually look for spiritual alternatives, not very relevant. As a matter of fact, there is enough food, there is enough space to live, there is enough male and female to interact. All these things are actually there. It's like India, it's a very good example. It's operating practically constantly on a verge of catastrophe. They speak about overpopulation and over this. But actually, everybody is surviving. Everybody is living somehow. Everybody has a place to sleep. Everybody finds eventually something to eat. And if there is a strong disbalance, this is not created by nature. This is created actually by humans, who actually don't understand how to conduct even these simple activities. So Krishna consciousness knowledge means knowledge to know what is to be known, not just collecting some data and find it exciting to collect some information. I don't have to know how many ants or different kind of ants are living in a Brazilian rainforest. Well, they are living there. What has this to do with me? I don't have to even know, in a Vedic society, this kind of media was not actually even functioning. There was no need to know even what people do in the next town. Why? Well, they do the same. They are struggling to get some food, some place, to find some male or female. Wherever you go, people do exactly the same thing, basically. So it's a big news. How do they actually, eat in Brazil? And how do they eat in Africa? And how do they eat? What they eat. That's all. People find it very exciting to find out how do they eat. What they eat. not addressing actually the real need we have. Therefore you see, despite people struggling to bring these kind of activities to perfection, they are not happy. They are dissatisfied. Everybody is somewhat very dissatisfied. You know, always on the run. It's called tourism. You know, yeah. We travel somewhere and they look, how they are eating here. Oh, that's very nice. And then they go home, nothing happens. The same dissatisfaction. We are not really addressing the needs we actually have. What do we really need? And that's addressed in Krishna consciousness. And even in Krishna consciousness, while practicing, we can experience satisfaction and happiness only to the degree how we are really practicing. You know, anybody can dress like this and paint something on the nose and cut his hair or whatever. That can be done very quickly. It's a question of half an hour. You can turn anybody here into a perfectly looking Hare Krishna in half an hour. Just takes one shaving machine, a little clay, tilak on the nose, and you will all look like, wow, I joined Krishna consciousness. Did we? Did we? I remember the devotees even participating in the, in open air festivals, painting out of fashion on people's nose this tilak. After a while, half of the participants of this open air festival looked like devotees. They were all tilak. There was only one problem, they were all drunk. Yeah. So you can change externally whatever you want, but actually what we are talking about is a change of consciousness. And that's really knowledge. There is even two kinds of knowledge. There is a theoretical knowledge and practical knowledge. And unless we don't come to the point of practical knowledge, no, we don't know. That's from the Vedic point of view. It's called parrot. Parrot you can teach. I know I heard in Australia in front of the temple, devotees have parrots, this ara, these big ones. And they are preachers. They welcome people. Hare Krishna! Chant Hare Krishna! And people go, oh, Hare Krishna parrot. He's also a devotee. No. When you grab him on his throat, he will go, ah! And that's it. He doesn't understand one thing what he's doing. He's just repeating. That's all. So this also good. Definitely, there's a benefit in this. Because knowingly or unknowingly, one is affiliated with the holy name, and that's okay. But he will not be able to sustain it. So Srila Prabhupada trained us actually to understand what we are doing. This is not for blind following. Blind following is too bad, it's no following, but it cannot be sustained. It's not based on sentiment. Srila Prabhupada gave a very nice guideline. He said, if you practice just on the level sentiment, it can turn into fanatism. Fanatism means maybe a good idea, but no knowledge. So one turns sometimes into fanatics. Fanaticism is actually expressed by those who are afraid that maybe there is something higher than this. But I want to see it. So you are a heretic. Kill them all before they oppose. This is the history of church. So this is fanaticism. Now, but then it's another extreme. We just collect the dry knowledge, information, and then don't practice. And therefore Prabhupada said, this is a synthesis of religious sentiment, practice, combined with philosophical knowledge. That's something which was never done before. Church, like example, they have a big struggle with knowledge. How do you explain the virginity of Holy Maria, crucifixion, and from the cross, and oh wow, and how do you explain life after death? Actually, really. There is even a branch, which is claiming that one day the graveyard will go open and they will all come out of the graves and go to heaven. I would like to see what kind of heaven is that. When all the skeletons comes out of the graves, wow, that must be really a, very scary heaven. There's no explanation to this, there's no knowledge. Whereby Bhagavad Gita is based on a very practical explanation. That we are not this body, how we are not this body, who we are, And how shall we be engaged positively on a spiritual platform while actually still living in this body? It's a science how to do this. People get confused. So if I'm not this body, then I should kill the body. Why? Because I'm not this body. That's not our philosophy. We have no right even to harm the body because we didn't even make it. It was given to us. Nobody here can say, oh, I was, at home making my body and then I put it on and here I am. We don't even know how we came into existence. We don't know why we were born in Denmark, India or wherever, why we are this color of the skin or that color of skin. We don't know one thing. Nothing. We just came into being and we don't even know why we came into being and what is motivating us to act in a particular way. What is controlling us, so we must act in a particular way. There's a dictate of, very practically, dictate of hunger, thirst, fatigue. This is all imposed upon us. It's like nobody wants to fall asleep. It's embarrassing. But it's happening. Did you ever expose a situation, you talk to somebody who is immensely tired, and he tries to listen, but he falls asleep. Looks very embarrassing. He's just, but it's because somebody who speaks completely falls asleep. Completely unconscious. You can do anything with him. You can paint his nose red and he will not even notice. What an embarrassing condition. And there are so many conditions we are put right away from the childhood. Here we are sitting and trying to listen in a dignified way. A few years ago, we were running around, we couldn't even control how to pass through. Such an embarrassing condition. With nappies and who knows what, and completely depending on the care of others, totally. Why? And this is where the questioning process should start, actually. Why did I come into this position? Why am I not happy? Why cannot I get what I want? Actually, what do I really want? People don't even know what they want. Some kind of happiness. How is it coming? Well, some fantastic eating, some fantastic sleeping, some fantastic sex life. Really? Well, then we can really get envious on that animal kingdom because they do it already. And they are much better as we are. They have their eating the whole day, feast. It's called the cow. They don't go shopping, nothing. They just walk around and eat. When they are full, they fall over and sit there and digest. Who can claim to have such a lifestyle? Who can actually... Regarding sex life, I probably don't want to be too detailed, but the humans are really. Just for a little information, the average time for sex life in America, newly researched, for an average American citizen is 2 to 3 minutes. At best, 3-4 times a month. But that's really small time. Monkey? Pigeon? No problem. They don't even look, they're not even embarrassed. I saw in India monkeys having sex on the roof and eating bananas simultaneously. And he has 20 girlfriends. No problem. Anytime. They even laugh at you. They go, and then have a sex. And eat banana. It's just, But the humans, obviously we are in the wrong place. We got the wrong body. It's not the major thing. Even they talk about this all the time. Now. From the time we spend in this body, this is relatively a minor affair. We sleep much more. That we sleep a lot. Half of the life. From the time point of view. We spend sometimes in sleeping. So that, yeah. And what do we do when we sleep? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that could be called wasted time. Because we do nothing. And still people wait. Tonight I will do nothing. Very exciting. They test the bed, if it's soft enough. In this place I will lay down and do nothing. I will know nothing. I will not enjoy actually anything. I will not even know I exist. That's called enjoyment. While from Bhagavad Gita point of view, it's called ignorance. You are practically on the level of a tree. Very minimal consciousness. So what is actually that enjoyment we look for? That means a conscious experience. But that cannot be done unless we don't know even who we are. How can I enjoy if I don't even know who I am? When I joined this movement, one of the first arguments devotees presented to me is that living in this world is like working hard, earning money, and putting it all in somebody else's bank account. Will somebody do that? Oh yes, we do that. Because we work hard and we invest everything in this body. Yeah, but that's not me. So we put all the energy of the investment goes into a wrong thing, which we find out sooner or later, it's not me because it's going to be taken away from us. It's like you go to the bank finally to pick up your money and enjoy, and they say, well, sorry, that's not your bank account, that was already cashed by somebody else. Well, that's quite a frustrating experience. You know? So the same way, we struggle to maintain this body, and at the end, taken away. And what is the body giving to us? It's just a mental concept. It's all in the mind. You don't have to be Krishna conscious to understand that. Even great demons and materialists said, yes, you are right, it's all in the mind. But they thought, so what? Let's stimulate the mind by intoxication, by all kinds of illusory things. It's all illusion. Therefore we are always laughing when they ask us, and are you sure this is not another illusion here? Well, let's not talk about illusion. You are living in it day and night. As a matter of fact, it's called Hollywood or something like this. Perfect illusion. Anything can be created anytime. People go, wow, more illusion please, more illusion. Give me more illusion. So it's actually a society of drug addicts and intoxicated, hallucinated people. And you don't have to take drugs for that. You just watch. You just take part. It's all hallucination. It's a dream. It's a dream-like condition. And you cannot be satisfied by a dream only. You can be inspired. Yeah, wow, what a dream I had. But it doesn't actually transmit a real experience. So the real experience is on the level of a real personal encounter, where all participants are really the persons they really are. They are not in a dreaming condition, they are in a awake condition. When you awake, people are afraid to be awake. Because in the material world to wake up, it's a painful experience. You wake up and you remember, oh, today I have to pay this bill or something. Oh, today I have to meet these people. Oh, today I have to work. And there's not much to look forward sometimes to wake up. Today's in spiritual life is also like that. Therefore, they love to define spiritual life also as some vague merging, experience. Impersonal. Because they are afraid. As soon as something gets personal, there will be some conflict. There will be some interaction. And that means trouble. We connect immediately personalism with trouble. That's our experience from the material world. But there is a positive personalism, and that is defined here, can be discovered only under the right direction of a spiritual authority. We are helpless. We are lost. We don't know even what spiritual life is. We need guidance. We need somebody who actually guides us and who can give practical example how it works. Therefore Srila Prabhupada, the single person coming in advanced age from India, simply by living in front of us, that's how you get connected to spiritual life, that's how you worship Krishna, that's how you are yourself. This was so fascinating. Because all these young people hallucinating, and 60s were certainly a great festival of hallucination, they suddenly met Srila Prabhupada, and he was an old man living, with no followers, no money, nothing to offer which actually people look for, But he was so fascinating himself. And he was so happy from another source. He was not happy by excessive eating, by excessive sleeping, by excessive sex life. He simply didn't make it like on this platform. Obviously not. But he was 1,000 times happy as anybody else present. And that was very attractive. All curious. Yeah. Even people came with the most traumatic dilemmas. presented the most difficult, situations they were living in. So Prabhupada just smiled and he said, it's okay, it's okay. It's temporary. That doesn't mean we don't see it. Yes, also we don't feel good to see somebody suffering. But when you know why is he suffering, and when you know how easily sometimes the suffering can be removed, then you are not so affected. As a matter of fact, Prabhupada said there is only one meaning for this movement, is to make people happy. But it doesn't mean happy in a material way. And there are plenty of people approaching this movement expecting material progress. That's called pious. They know that there is a supreme control. They know I'm controlled, so let's go. It's summarized in a Christian prayer. Give us our daily bread. Wow, God is the chief bread maker. But elephants don't pray, they get their bread. Animals don't pray, they get their food. So how does that work? Obviously there is actually no problem on that platform if we do things rightly. The problem is somewhere else. As Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, the only problem is we forgot God, we forgot who we are. And God is not just, oh God. No, there is a knowledge. There is actually information, detailed information given. Who is God? How does He look like? What does He expect us to do? What is our position in relationship to Him? What is our duty to Him? And what is our benefit we can get? Yeah, sure, there's information, all there. So Krishna consciousness is not, as it may seem for some, just escape door out of this world and that's it. No. It is a way how to live in this world and simultaneously get free from, of course, this existence which is actually bringing to us death, old age, disease, things nobody wants. Nobody wants to die. We don't want to die. We are sitting here, we are thinking, yeah. Maybe I heard this even 1,000 times. But we are going to die. We are going to be finished. We are going to be extinct. So automatically, if people would understand that alone, what's the use of all this struggling and fighting and arguing? As Srila Prabhupada said, he personally experienced like the Muslim-Hindu quarrels in India, riots. And he said at the end, when they killed each other, there was heaps of bodies lying in a city of Calcutta, and they were all mixed up together. Nobody knew who is a dead Muslim and dead Hindu, and they were all dead. So so what's the use of that? And again, bunch of fools comes and claim, raise the flags, and march against each other. For what? To make a big step in the history of mankind. Well, there were quite people whose names I remembered, but they are gone. Where are they? Srila Prabhupada used to know Alexander the Great or even Hitler and all this. Where are these people? They are gone. And what's happening? Life goes on, just like that. So the only thing which is significant and which makes really significant, which unfortunately we cannot historically document, is how many people left this world and never came back again. We cannot document that because they never came back again. Nobody comes back and saying, you are all a bunch of fools. You are struggling here, I just came back. It's much more fun over there. Unfortunately, we don't have these kind of testimonies because they don't come back. That's why everybody is saying, no, it doesn't happen. Why? Because nobody came back. Why should they come back? No. But sometimes, occasionally, Krishna sends somebody like Srila Prabhupada who actually doesn't come back by force, who voluntarily descends to inform us, you fools, what are you doing here? Look, a situation you got in. You want to be loved, you get hatred. You want to live forever and you die every minute. You are living in a situation which is obviously completely contrary to your real desires. And you will never get these desires satisfied. The classical example is a fish out of water. You can take fish out of the water and give him nice dress and feed him nicely, and then the fish will flop. It will He wants back in the water. You know, you cannot satisfy a fish on a dry land. Similarly, we cannot be satisfied. We are not in an environment to be satisfied. But we can get a taste what it means to be spiritually satisfied by practicing our original activities according to our original nature already now. So it's not a dreamland we promise to people. We never tell people, you must believe this, you must believe. No, you try. Chant Hare Krishna and try to associate with devotees. Try it on your own. Because we are staying here only on a basis of taste. Everybody has a taste. The drunkard has his taste, you know, the meat eater has his taste, you know, a lusty man has his taste. Everybody has some taste. And the taste is actually the ultimate motivating power why we are doing what we are doing. Then we rationalize the whole thing. We talk. I think, in my opinion, no, when the taste comes, that's the proof where we are. I personally had experience of big, sophisticated professor of Indology discussing even Vedic scriptures. Very interesting. When his secretary came in the door, you know, young blonde girl, he lost the speech. In front of me. Hey, he forgot the lines. He was like, yes, this way, hello. He was gone. One blonde girl, the whole way I was out of the window. That's what the taste is. And that will be tested. You can see. Material nature is offering us, I know what you want. Krishna knows what you want. So she was, yes. Big man talking. One girl, finished. Gone. All the knowledge out of the window. So this is practical. So we always are going there where our taste is, where our desire is going. And that will also define our next existence. Because we are leaving the body according to the thinking, feeling and willing. So when we want, then we also think about it. And we feel accordingly. And there we are forming our next existence. Somebody is dying, thinking and feeling and willing. Oh no, I'm dying. I cannot eat anything more. I would like to have one big meal, at least one before I die. Well, you can have many meals. You can be next lifetime eating the whole life. Just eating. But that's human form of life. It's not very suitable. Just a little stomach and then you get ulcers and diabetes. It's not very good. So have a big body, something very big. You can stuff the food in, you know. A whole day and night. Such a bodies do exist. Why to waste human form life for that? So everything is perfectly arranged. You always get what you want ultimately. So the question is, and that's the most difficult part, where Krishna consciousness we change the desire. We actually purify it. Sometimes after practicing Krishna consciousness, even a devotee gets the idea, I'm missing something. I'm constantly here serving Krishna, practicing Krishna consciousness, but in the meanwhile, my body gets older, I could have enjoyed so much and I didn't do that. I missed the whole thing. This kind of inventory time comes to every devotee. You know, Maya comes, illusion comes. What have you done? You're getting old, you're wasting your life. This Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and then, you know, you look, there's so many people doing so many things, you are missing the whole show. You know, you are not watching any TV, and you don't see anything, you don't understand anything. The life is developing. It's a great show they have out there. And you miss the whole thing. You know, you are just here chanting and you know, and reading and, you know. And then for the less intelligent ones, they go,